Hey everybody, my name is Kevin, and today I am scoofing around out in my garage. Day off today, so I haven't even showered or combed my hair yet or anything. Just kind of goofing around, doing some chores, and I wanted to upload a video in response to a video I did a couple of years ago, bending sheet metal. That's my most viewed video, and that's also the video I get the most comments and private messages about. I've had a lot of private messages asking for clarification on some details, and so I thought I'd redo this, and rather than have music, I'll just kind of narrate and walk you through it. And so I've had a lot of positive feedback and some negative feedback too. People are saying, just put it in a break and bend it, and that's totally true. That'd be a lot easier. But I don't have access to that. I don't live in a machine shop. When I used to work in a metal shop, I did sheet metal work for about 3.5 years, and I had access to all that stuff. We had an 8-foot brake, we had a mill and a lathe, high quality hand tools and stuff that I don't, can't really afford and wouldn't have room in my garage anyways. So this is geared more for people who don't have access to equipment like that and want to improvise and make something in their garage, and you need to do it. Like right today, I just need to bend a little 1x1 angle about 12 inches long, and I'm making it out of aluminum, and this could be done with steel or aluminum sheet metal. It doesn't matter. I happen to have a little piece of aluminum laying around that I'm going to use, and so this is everything I'm going to be using right here. So I have 4 C-clamps, okay, 4 of these guys, Sharpie. I found these skinny Sharpies work the best for writing on metal like that. And then if you ever need to erase it, you can use acetone. So, and then these look like scissors. These are metal snips designed for cutting straight. And these are made by WISS, W-I-S-S. These are pretty good. These are decent. And then the mallet I use, it looks like this, which is like hard rubber or soft plastic. And that's what I prefer for bending. This is about $20. If you want to pick one of these up, these are about $4, and it'll do the same thing for you. I got most of this stuff at Osh. You should be able to find it at a store like that or Home Depot or something. Then I'm also going to use a tape measure. Just recently got a decent one, but you can get one at Walmart for like $2 or $3. That'll work fine. And then aside from that, that's pretty much what I'm going to need. And then aside from that, for bending, I also use 2 pieces of steel. I use this flat piece of steel, which is 3 feet long, and this is 3/16 thick. So that's that, and then I also use an angle. This is a little bit longer, but that's just by coincidence. There's no real reason for that. And then this is about an 1/8 inch thick. Felt like I could get away with a little thinner steel here because it's an angle and it's more rigid. So we'll use those later. And then for now, I'm just going to start doing a little bit of layout. I'm just going to draw a couple lines so we can cut out our piece of metal. So I'll sit down here. And I'm just going to draw a couple lines across here. Now, I was always taught you don't go like this and use the end of the tape, because these rivets, in time, you'll get a little bit of play in there, and so your measurements might not be accurate. And so I'll line up a line on the edge of the metal like that, and then I'm just going to make a mark at 1 inch, which is actually going to be where I'm going to bend it, and then I'll make another mark at 2 inches where I'm going to cut it. So that'll be a cut line, and that'll be a bend line. And then I'll do the same thing down here real quick. it doesn't have to be super accurate either. And then for a straight edge, maybe I'll just use one of these. When I worked in that metal shop, my job was to lay down patterns, trace them out, and cut them out with snips. And occasionally I would draw some parts out like this and bend them in the brake, bend like 90s. And then they were actually parts for experimental aircraft. So that's why the measurements had to be so accurate. And then we would also have, like on my straight edge, I would have that covered with felt, so it wouldn't scratch the crap out of the metal. But for this, I don't really care. Okay. So there you get two lines, bend line and cut line. I'll try to get this cut out here. Lost the cap to my pen. Oh well. Now, one thing also learned doing sheet metal there is that anytime you're cutting on a line, you're really going to scratch the metal up to the right side. So I found it's a little bit better to do it this way. I'm really scratching this piece of metal up, but like I said before, it doesn't really matter for what I'm using it for. I had in my living room, I had made a shelf above my TV that our VCR sat on, but it took up the whole shelf. So I made a little tray to suspend the VCR underneath the shelf. That's kind of what this is all about. So here's our piece of metal. Looks pretty good. A little bit long. Maybe I'll trim it down real quick, because I only need about 12 inches. So, measure out 12 inches. Hang this off the edge so I could use my square on the factory edge. And then I'm going to cut this. Looks like I ended up with two 12 inchers, which is always nice in case you screw one up, you know. So I think that's going to be it for part one, and then part two I'm going to bend this thing. So thanks for joining me, and stay tuned.